Hey there, race fans, and welcome to another episode of the Pecino Report. It's season 2020, episode 29. Who's that one, Manuel? Who's number 29?
I don't know. I think nobody.
It's one of those ones.
Look. You pushed the matter. I didn't push. I'm doing. Stu,
Immediately, we've got a listener question.
Look. I am doing an article for the end of the year, where I go through all the numbers from 1 to 100. Explain which number fits each rider.
There we go.
Fantastic. Yes.
So we'll have a look, see who number 29 is. So anyway,
who's a noni?
Yanoni. Oh,
Yanoni. Oh,
he's been God bless my season, but we've forgotten about him already.
That was very good.
Like who?
Us. We haven't even finished the intro yet, and we're already stuck. So anyway, this is the podcast that gets past the hype and let you know what's really happening in the MotoGP paddock. So with that crazy intro, it's a very brief hello to Andra. How you doing, my dear? While you got a mouthful of beer, look at you go.
Well, I'm trying to decide. We filled up the port barrel with some very delicious flavors. So I've got a glass of port and I've got a can of lemonade. And I thought about putting them together because I think that's a thing, but I'm not sure. So I'm just drinking them separately.
Oh, wow. So you're into the port. That's how desperate you are. It's been 1 week without racing, and there's only 3 weeks left in the season, and you're into the port barrel.
You know what? It was actually...
She switched from beer to the port. She's getting sophisticated.
Oh, it did come out of a box with a bag inside the box. So
nice. classy, wonderful. And Manuel, how are you, mate? We must actually ask a semi-serious question. We know that you guys are doing it very, very tough in Spain. So how are things near where you are before we get too deep into the bikes?
Well, look, I can't say that the things are fine, but it's all over Europe. You know, they have locked down yesterday. England, France is locked down. Germany is locked down. Portugal, that is on our side, is locked down. Not yet Spain, but it will happen in 2 or 3 days. Things are really tough. And I imagine the next question you will do to me is about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
With the last 3 Grand Prix, remember that we have 2 in Valencia next weekend and the other one, and immediately after 1 in Portugal. Okay.
Yep.
So the red lights started to flash yesterday, 2 days ago, when the Portuguese government didn't, they said that there is a chance that the Grand Prix in Portugal cannot happen. It depends on how the evolution of the pandemic goes, because every day is different.
Yeah.
But
so they didn't deny it when they were asked.
No, they say that they can't say anything in 3 weeks in advance. You know, in fact, today when we are recording this is Tuesday, and I still don't know if I travel Thursday to Valencia or not. I am in a complete doubt, because the situation is horrible.
Wow.
And I tell you something, there is always a good side, if there is a good side in this situation. The hotels in Spain, for example, are so cheap. So. Nobody's in the hotels. Yes, 80% of the hotels are closed. And the ones who are open, the prices are incredible. You can stay in Valencia for 4 days for less than 100 euros. I don't know how much this is in Australian money, but it's
probably about 60 bucks.
Wow.
And my friend Giovanni Zamagni from Italy, he has found a flight from Milano to Valencia, 30 euros back and forward. How much is 30 euros?
Well done, mate.
Wow.
So I tell you something, the airplane and the hotel is cheaper than a PCR test. This is the world we are in now. At least here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So look, before we move on, I want to explain to everybody there's been a bit of a break, and I apologize. We had a week off without letting everybody know. We were intending to continue through and have another episode last week, but somebody decided to get a bit sick and didn't put his big boy pants on and decided he couldn't record last week. So if you're having withdrawal symptoms out there in podcast land,
it's Stu's fault.
My fault. I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah, so, it's incredible, but we are human.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. So before we go any further, let's just quickly duck back and take a look at what happened. Not last weekend, the weekend before. So we at the Aragon 2 GP. So we had another Yamaha winner. We had more Suzuki's on the podium. We didn't see my prediction of Rins letting Mir go past. Mir didn't manage to get past him. What are your thoughts on that GP, Manuel?
Yes, I have to question you. Which was the result of the first Aragon Grand Prix? I don't remember. Who won that race in Aragon? Rins won the first. Oh yeah, Rins, Marquez, and Mir, right? Rins, Marquez, and Mir. Yes, that was the Aragon one. Okay, the Aragon 2, we saw an incredible performance of Franco Morbidelli, astonishing. So another Yamaha one. And second, we saw, who was second?
Rins,
and then Mir.
And then Mir.
Rin and Mir. Okay, we got it. So the Suzuki's did a very, very good Aragon races. And Morbidelli with his super victory, he got hooked into the championship.
Yeah.
Again, just when we keep thinking it's going to settle down, it's going to maybe be a 2-horse race, other people keep putting their hand up.
Yeah, Dovizioso got completely out. But completely out, we will speak about this later. But he got out, and then the 4 top riders, the 4 ones who have a chance to win the championship are there. And we are talking about Mir. We are talking about Quartararo, of course. We are talking about Viñales. And we are talking now about Franco Morbidelli. 3 Yamahas and 1 Ducati.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah. I mean, realistically, for me, it is now Mir's championship to lose, especially if we lose the Portimao race at the end of the season. As it stands at the moment, there's only 75 points on offer for the rest of the season. And Mir has, what has he got? Like a 17 or 20 something point lead or something like that?
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
123 to 127. So 14-point lead. So in the context of things, that's a massive lead, really, realistically, with how the results have been going, isn't it?
Or a massive lead or a nothing lead, because the results, the only good thing is that the consistency of Mir shows that he's the only consistent in this championship. The only one. So because the second one, Quartararo disappeared in Aragon completely. In fact, I have to say that after having a very bad first race, he completely gave away the second one, because the first thing that he said when he finished the second race was, finally we are out of Aragon and we are traveling to Valencia, where I am very fast, or pretty fast. So Quartararo, I think all of them noticed the pressure, Mir had probably, although his result, he had probably the weakest Grand Prix of the season. He never felt comfortable in Aragon. And it was not because the bike were not performing. We saw in the 2 results, it was him. The pressure is there.
Yeah.
The pressure is on Morbidelli. The pressure is that throw Nakagami to the floor. Nakagami was a
that
surprise.
was heartbreaking.
Okay. Let's talk about that some more.
Yeah, he was a surprising pole position, right? In Teruel Grand Prix.
That was his first, wasn't it? Was it his first pole?
His first Grand Prix. And in fact, he said something very funny. He said, look, this time the red light is just above me. So I have to look up. Normally I see it from far away.
Bless him.
Oh, that's brilliant. But he had an amazing weekend, didn't he? He was all through practice. He was top of the timesheets. Qualifying didn't even look like it was daylight second. There was a massive gap all the way through. And then, second corner, third corner.
It happened what it should happen. Look, I think when I'm thinking, it shows like you have to go through different phases, You can't go from being 7th to try to win a Grand Prix. And this is exactly what happened. He got there, and I think for the first time he had anybody in front to tell him how fast or how slow he should go.
But before, sorry.
No. Tell me.
I was going to jump. I was going to finish talking about Taka, but you haven't finished, so I won't butt in.
No, but because Taka just did what was expected to do.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
very, very, he was too nervous, and he had just signed his contract for 2 years.
Yeah.
And look at this. Takeo Yokoyama, who is the Honda top engineer,
Mhm.
he made an interview 2 days before saying, I would like to make Nakagami world champion this season. So imagine the pressure he went out, just
Wow.
having signed his contract.
Yep.
So he
But
went
in
out.
saying that, he was up there. So if he'd actually stayed on the bike and had won the race, it would be a whole different story.
Yes, but look, we have to take care, and we have the experience. And I remember that some Grand Prix ago, we were saying KTM is the best bike. Wow, KTM. And then they disappeared.
Yeah.
And Honda did very well in the same circuit, right? Before, more or less. Now we have to see what happened in Valencia. So this season, every time you say, 100% truth, the next race, you look like a face like, okay, I have no idea of what's going on.
Yep. Oh, it's definitely going to be. Mir's definitely going to win. Yeah, right. What else is going to happen? And Jack, what happened to Jack? Oh, my
and
goodness.
Brad Binder took him out.
Brad Binding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my two favorite guys, realistically, behind me is Jack and Brad. I'm so disappointed.
And they hugged and just walked off together like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I think Jack could have easily done like this. No,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was expecting with all the anger he's had lately.
No, but Jack is, look, I don't believe too much in good and bad luck in racing, but with Jack, I have to change my mind because what happened in Misano, remembering that admission sucked that piece of steel, no?
The tear off, yep.
Tear off. The engine broke in Le Mans. This crash in Aragon. So he should go. I don't know if you do this in Australia, but when you have such a series of bad luck, you go to church and they
You should.
Yeah. He would just go buy a lotto
Absolutely.
ticket. That's all we do. Exactly. Yeah. So what else before we move forward and start to look forwards? Any other observations that really stood out for you from Aragon?
Yes, there is something very interesting. Remember that in the first race in Aragon, Quartararo had tire pressure problems. Do you remember?
Yep.
That the pressure of the front tire went up. So I had a super interesting chat with one of the Petronas team engineers, and he explained me something that I didn't know in my 26 years of Grand Prix racing. And this is so interesting. He said to me, look, the pressure of the tires, we are talking always front tire. You put the pressure considering a certain type of race you are going to race.
Okay.
Because it's not the same if you start and you just go away like Morbidelli did, or you start and you stay in the middle of the group. The tire, what hits more the tire is not the temperature of the asphalt, but the air.
The air around the bike.
So if you are in the middle of the group and you don't get fresh air, the tire hits, the pressure goes up.
Wow.
Therefore, I was explained that in Aragon, for example, a rider who felt that the tire was getting too much pressure in the straight, he just should go out from the slipstream.
Yeah, okay.
Get
cool
fresh air on the tire.
Yep.
And what happened? Quartararo, he was supposed to make a race like Morbidelli.
Yeah.
Ideally, yep.
Yeah, or something there. If you start in the front row, you imagine a certain type of race. But so you set up the pressure of the front tire for this type of race. So if you get stuck, everything changes. And what happens that I was explaining, there are riders that are capable to change their riding style and to adapt of what's coming. The best person is Marc Marquez. No, Marc adapts to every situation.
Yep.
Quartararo, as soon as he felt that it was something wrong, he just got blocked. He didn't had the mental strength to adapt.
Mm.
Okay, and the issue of losing the right pressure is basically on braking. You know, the rider has not the feeling to brake, and if you go back to the races, you see that they overtook him always on the brakes because he
Yeah.
had not the feeling.
It was just different
Okay,
for
and
him.
another thing, look, the difference of the right pressure to a wrong pressure will never go up 20% of the right pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not never. So if you calculate this 20% and the result that Quartararo had, that was 18th, it doesn't
Yeah.
match. It doesn't match. It was here.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, exactly. Like I say,
So
as soon as
much
he
of it.
loses the feeling, he loses the confidence in here. And
Exactly.
so it's a cumulative process. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
And there are riders who are capable to adapt to this,
Mm.
and others who get, okay, I have not the right tool, I give up, more or less.
Yeah.
Something if
Reminds
it's
me
not
of
perfect.
an old Australian used to do that, Troy Corser. Used to do the
And I
same
tell
thing.
you something, this shows how radical and how critical MotoGP is. You know, every
Yeah.
single detail. And this person told me also, look, you have to consider that the races finishing are from second to the gap between the first and the second, or the first is around 0.8, 1 second.
Mm.
Yep.
Okay. We are talking about 100 kilometers racing. On every lap has 17 Aragon. Every lap has 17 turns.
Yep.
17 turns. 23 times. So imagine how much you have to be faster on one turn. 0.001. Then you get you make the result. So he explained me the things are so tight that you have every single little detail makes the difference. But every single little detail.
Wow. Crazy. Andrew, do
Crazy.
you have anything to add?
I was just going to say that after Tucker and Alex Marquez falling off, not one single rider has finished every race now this season.
Is that right?
Apparently so. That's my fun fact for the week.
And I tell you something about the figures. We have seen Mir doing 6 podium in the last 8 races, right? But the rider who has made more points in the last 4 races is his teammate, even having a 0 in France.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep. So as Rins, look, Rins after the race in Teruel was a little bit, sting, like a sting, not because he said, with his teammate seated 4 meters from him, he said, our team manager has a problem now. This Rins. He said he has a problem now because he has 2 riders who are capable to win. And on the mathematics, I am still in the championship. He just throw it. He just threw it, you know.
So is Valentino going to be back for the next race?
Oh, yes.
And I'm just going to quickly jump now to one of our listener questions, because this is what I was about to ask, is why didn't Jorge Lorenzo step in for him for the couple of weeks?
Because he is not fit. He's too slow. In the test they did in Portugal, after Barcelona, you know, the riders went to the circuit in Portugal to have a first contact with the rider.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there was the test team, the different test teams were there using the MotoGP bikes, but the riders used street bikes.
Yeah.
Just to get used to the circuit. And Maverick Viñales was faster on the street bikes than Jorge Lorenzo on the MotoGP bike.
You're kidding. Really?
Oh my God.
So it would have been super embarrassing.
Oh my God.
To see Lorenzo on a MotoGP. It would be even dangerous, you know.
I'm just picturing this big fat end of his career Elvis looking dude.
Hold my donut.
Elvis in Hawaii.
Somebody go give me a cheeseburger. Oh, amazing.
Oh,
all right.
No.
Well, look, how about we have a quick chat? So as we say, there's probably 4 guys still in with a genuine chance. how about we talk about each of them in turn, and you let us know what you think their chances really are.
Can I put in what I think too?
Yeah, I
Yes, of course.
certainly
No,
hope
no.
you do.
You speak and I tell you, and then
You tell me I'm
you
wrong.
start. But I would say there are 4. I agree, no? The 4 that we mentioned.
Yep.
And then at the end, we put another 2 options.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I know who you think.
Okay, let's start with Jarmir.
Ramir, what do you reckon,
Okay.
Andrew?
All right, I'll pass on that one.
He's
Strong
look,
points. No, strong points of Jarmir after
Oh.
what you have seen this season.
I don't know. He's just been consistently up there. So
consistency
Very
is
good.
the thing for me,
Yes.
definitely. He seems to be
Consistency.
handling the pressure a bit better than those around him, realistically. So for me, he's still my boy. He's still my number 1 pick. I think the bike that they're on is the best overall package, and everyone seems to be saying that. So for me, he's just the right rider on the right bike at the right time.
Very good. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strong points. You mentioned 2.
7. Oh, what are the other
Okay.
5?
Okay, let's go. First, consistency. You mentioned consistency, right?
Yep.
We have spoken about. When he has a bad day, like in Aragon, he finishes on the podium.
Mhm.
Strong point.
Yep.
He is probably the best rider when it comes to overtake.
Yeah.
We have seen it during the whole season,
Yeah,
how he
loves it.
overtakes.
He loves to overtake.
And
Yep.
he doesn't think. He arrives and bang, you know?
Yep.
If
Yep.
you compare, for example, the comparison is with Oliveira. Oliveira is a strong rider, but
Mhm.
if you have seen in the races, he stays a while behind the rider, he studies the rider and makes the move when he has everything under control. Joamir doesn't need control. He just comes and bang.
And they can't
Yeah.
afford to stop and think too long, can they?
Okay, it's something that he has to be very clear, the overtaking maneuver, right? This is a very strong point, I think. Another important thing, he normally starts very far in the back, 12, 11. His first lap is incredible. Normally he starts 11, and then when you, in the first time they go on the finish line, he's 5th or 6th.
Yeah, 5th or 6th.
So his
exactly.
first laps, are brutal. His first lap. Something important. He is world champion.
Yes. Yeah. He
And
knows what it's like
this
to win
is
a world
very important
championship.
here. He's a world champion. He knows he has been in the situation to fight for a world championship before. And this is experience.
So he's not
And
getting flustered and oh my God, he's just like, yep.
exactly. And the serenity, to know how to have been in this situation. And another important thing, the last one, he is at the top of the list. So he depends only on his results.
Yeah.
Right? He
Yeah.
doesn't need to look at what is Quartararo doing. He just do myself.
Yeah, he's in control of his own destiny. Exactly.
Exactamente. Very good. Okay, the cons of Joan Mir. Your turn.
Well,
He's young. I think
Isn't
he's
he in
still
the
young.
past? He's been inconsistent. So this is rare to see him sticking to the path. That's all.
There is something very clear. We just mentioned it. On the grid where he's in normally.
Yeah. He's qualifying.
He qualifies very bad.
Qualifying is terrible.
It's very bad. Another cons, he has not won any race. And this is a pressure.
True. You don't even think about that, do you? Like, realistically, he's at the top of the
Oh my
table. And you
God.
don't even realize he hasn't actually won a MotoGP race.
But he constantly says, I have to win. I want to win. So it's in his brain. These are basically the 2 weak points of the cons. Not weak, but that's clearly plays against him in this last sprint.
Yeah.
The qualifying and the need, psychological need to win a race.
So if this continues on, this trend continues on, say we go to Valencia next weekend and he qualifies 10th or 12th and he finishes 3rd or 4th, but he finishes in front of Fabio, so he's happy with that. what happens when we do get to Portimao? Because that pressure is going to be absolutely huge on him, even just in his own head. It's going to be like, I'm just about to win a world championship and I haven't won a race yet. This is insane.
Claro. No, I completely agree. I completely agree. And then later we go down to Portimao because 3 out of these 4 riders have raced in Portimao and won.
Yeah.
Okay.
These last 3 races are going to be like, this is going to separate the boys from the men because it's going to be like manic because it's just, yeah.
It's
Fabio Quartararo. Fabio Quartararo. Bronze. Okay, your turn.
He's a good runner.
That means what?
Oh no! So Stu and I laughed. There's a video of him talking about running, and we tease the way he laughs. Do you know what? He's not doing it for me. He's like, I feel like he peaked a bit early, and it's all overwhelmed him a little bit. I don't think he'll do it.
Strong points. He's fast for me.
That's right. Sorry, positives.
He is just fast. If I'm positives, he is just a fast rider. That's all there is to it. And I think he really, really suits that bike as well. You know, hey, we talk about bikes being developed for riders and certain riders not being able to ride certain bikes. Him and that bike together, they're just fast. At the moment, I think his con is, I think he's mentally weak at the moment.
Very good, Stu, because if you look at how many pole position he did this year, I think there were 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then he qualified a lot of races second. Yeah. So on one lap, he's very fast.
Yeah.
So he is capable to start the races in a theoretically better position than Mir always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Exactly, and he has to chase Mir, right? So this is an unquestionable pro for Fabio, right? Normally, when he is in a good position, when he starts in the front, he takes profit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? The 3 races he won, because when he is in the situation to be fast, he doesn't do mistakes. You understand?
Yep.
So, and another important thing for Fabio, and I think it's positive, is when things don't go well for him, he takes the most out of the situation. This means he has he arrived in Le Mans 9th. He's second in the championship by taking his bike to the finish line always.
Yeah.
But in Misano, you know, because other riders would get nervous and would crash. He says he's one of these that is, his serenity is on the paper not reasonable due to his age. You understand?
Okay, yeah. He's wise beyond his years almost, yeah.
And do forget how young he is. How yeah.
Really look, I wrote down here, you know that he started to race when he was 4.
Mm-hmm.
4. He's 21. 21 minus 4 is 17. 17 years of racing.
Yeah,
that's a whole career right there. That's ready for retirement.
It's a whole life. He hasn't done anything else. Yes. I don't know if he knows how to use spoon and for it, but
can't do his own tax return.
About racing, he knows everything, right?
Yeah.
And then another important point, remember what happened in Le Mans. Last 2 laps, that was the only direct fight between Quartararo and Mir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who was more, how do you say, who won that little...
Yeah, Fabio was just like, I'm not getting past me. So, sorry,
exactly.
mate. Yeah. Yep.
So the only way we have seen both really fighting for a position, even if it was 9th or 10th, Fabio said, hey, I am here the boss.
Yeah, because Maverick was in there important. As well, wasn't he? Yeah.
There was Maverick, there was... Fabio, and there was, I don't know, another one who was all, and Fabio was the one who said, I am here the tough guy. And this is important.
Yeah.
Valencia is a circuit that he adores. He's super fast in Valencia, even admitted by Joan Mir. They know that there he will have a tough time.
Yep.
And then another strong point is Portimao, but we go to Portimao later. Weak points. Andra. Weak points.
I think, like I said, I think he's incredible, but I think he peaked too early. He had those couple of wins and just went, oh my God, this is it. I've got it. And then something's got in his head since then.
Stu?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's his mental capacity at the moment. I think he's mentally beating himself up. That's his main thing, and his running style, as Andrew said.
Yeah, remember, I don't know because my memory is like a fish memory, but in one of the races he won the 2 in Jerez, and then the one he won, I don't remember where, he immediately said, wow, this is a big relief because I was under a lot of pressure.
Yep.
Remember that he said this, so he admitted it, you know, he showed it. He showed that he's under pressure. Another weak point is that he's the only of these 4 riders that has never been world champion. So he has never fought for a championship. So, you know, it's a plus for me and a minus for him. How do I need to handle this situation? He does not know.
Yeah.
So even with that, like winning those couple of races early on, that must have added so much pressure to be able to keep doing that. And every time he's not, it's got to be that
day that he won that 3rd race, I remember that he said, well, I have worked with a sport psychologist, so it was really heavy. It was heavy pressure on him. He had to look for specialized people.
Yep.
And then the last weak point for Fabio, in my opinion, is that he's just the opposite of Viñales when it comes to overtaking. He is not, how to say, in Spanish we say contundente. You know, he's not like, bang! It takes a lot for him to overtake as well.
Yeah, he's not positive and he's not like Mia.
Exactly. Okay, that's his Maverick.
Yeah.
Then we go to my Maverick Viñales. Before we go to Maverick Viñales, I went through his biography, you know, with when he started to race, how old he was? 3.
He was 3.
Andra, 3 years.
I was about to say, was he a bit older?
Yeah.
3.
So I was impressed when I saw Quartararo. Wow, 4 years. Then I went to Viñales and said, 3 years. He's 25. He has been racing 22 years.
Jesus.
That
nuts. Is insane. That is absolutely insane.
And if you go through his sports CV, all right, he has won in all kind of categories with all kind of bikes, but since he was 5 or 6 years old. So he has won in motocross, in supermotard, 50cc, 70cc, 90cc. So every day, for me, it's simply incredible.
Yeah. Well, and look, that's got to be on the list of strong points. Realistically, he's a winner. He knows how to win. He is a seasoned winner. He's won lots of titles in lots of different categories. That's got to be a strength of his. Even though he's, what is he, 10, 20, 19, 20 odd points down.
Yeah,
that,
but 20 with 75, it's okay.
Yeah, he still knows what he's doing. He knows what he's got to do to win.
Okay, Andra, positive for Viñales. Show what you have learned.
I think that what we mentioned before about Fabio and that, because obviously he's getting a lot of things jumping in his head that's holding him back, but I do think he's further along than Fabio. Like, he's got a little bit more maturity. He seems to be holding on better. I don't know. He's a bit more focused.
I'd agree. I'd agree with that. I think he's had his mentally weak moment earlier in the year. I think he's starting to get a bit stronger now.
He also nearly had his head taken off by another bike.
There is that.
And jumped off of a bike with no brakes. So he's doing pretty well.
He can jump off a bike at 220 k's an hour. There you go.
Okay, I wrote here. I don't know if you agree. The first thing, he has shown that he's fast, very fast in all circuits.
Yep.
In qualifying, he has been in the front in all circuits. You know, because Fabio, for example, was slower in Austria, but Viñales is incredibly fast, and this is probably a consequence. He has been in the championship in MotoGP for 6 years already.
Is it that long?
6 years. 2 years.
Wow, I feel
in,
like he's only just started. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a lot. This is a lot. So he has much more experience. It's down to what you said, Andra. In the situation that Fabio gets under pressure at the end, he has 6 years, and he is world champion.
Yeah.
And Andra, he won his championship in the last race, in the last corner.
Wow.
So Maverick knows absolutely what pressure means.
Yeah.
I listened back a little while ago to our beginning episodes, and I listened to the first episode, and you were like, "What do you think of this guy?" And I was like, "Who's this guy standing on his balcony in a dressing gown, reading a book?" And now I can't even comprehend that I didn't know who he was.
And I tell you something, I put another positive point. I don't know if you agree. Maverick, out of these 4, was the only one who started the season thinking in being world champion.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
It was him and Marc Marquez. So he's mentally in a situation that is not strange to him. It's not a surprise. You know, we most of the points that we are mentioned with Maverick are basically mentality points, right? Then the weak points of Maverick, I think the list is longer than strong points.
Sundays, every Sunday. That's
Excuses, lots of excuses.
There are 12 Sundays. No, 12. No, he won 1 race.
Ducatis, surrounded by Ducatis.
Yeah, he's having nightmares about Ducatis. Yeah, he does seem to. I always said he falls asleep halfway through a race. You look at his race pace and he just goes, and then he wakes up again and comes back again. So he seems to have like 10 laps in the middle of a race where he just falls asleep. That's got to be his biggest weak spot, surely.
Well, he's at the first part of the season, his weakest point were the starts. Yeah. Remember that he always starts first or second row and then 10th position. Remember in Barcelona, it was 16th position or something like that.
Safety car went past him. Yep.
It seems that the starts he has corrected.
Yep.
Right? He has but he's still very, very, very weak in the first lap. It's the opposite of Mir, you know?
Yeah.
Completely the opposite. In the first lap, he loses so many positions. And he's zero aggressive. Zero.
Right. Yep. Okay.
I tell you a story. Can we do a parenthesis here? And
Sure.
This is a nice story.
Do it.
Jorge Lorenzo, when he started in MotoGP, he was very weak in starting. The same. He lost a lot of position. So he decided to start to practice starts, right?
Yep.
Then he realized, okay, then he learned to start and he started very well. But sometimes he got stuck in the first lap. So he decided to develop his riding skills in the first lap. And then he turned into the most aggressive rider in the first 5 corners of the races.
Yeah.
And all this can be learned. You know, and the other day, look how interesting, Stu, this you will like. The other day, talking with his father about this, he told me, look, my son explained me that his clue was that he had A plan, B plan, C plan, D plan, F plan for the first lap. He said,
wow,
I want to start first and get first into the first corner. Okay.
Yeah.
If I don't do this, what shall I do? And then he didn't have to think of what doing because he had everything planned. So he never got surprised. And then look how interesting. He said to me, look, for example, my son said, if I start and I am second, I know on which corner I have to attack Dovizioso on the Ducati or Valentino on the Yamaha. Different corners and different way of attacking. You know, some I have just to let the brakes off and get in. So he had everything under control. And this is the key. Lorenzo says this is the key, because if you got in a situation, everything goes so quickly that if you are suddenly, it's not what I expected. What can I do? You just are out of the game.
Yep.
Amazing,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah, planning and practicing. So
Like
it just comes down to
playing
muscle
chess.
memory.
Yes, but this is something that you can learn by practicing.
Yeah.
And but the rider has to be humilde. Humilde.
Humble.
Yes, he has to humble to admit that he can improve. You understand?
Yes.
That is what Viñales doesn't do, because every time the this is the bike is not doing, the other thing is not doing this. He never admits that the problem is he.
Do you think there's some riders that just go out there and just win? And I know they plan, but would there be some that just go out there and go, right, I'll just give it my best and don't plan?
Yes,
You just talked about
most of them. Do you imagine Nakagami did anything planned the other day?
Well, if he did, he obviously
Ride really fast in that direction.
oh, bless him.
Okay, we were talking about
That was
Viñales.
Viñales, so now
The cons
Frankie.
of Viñales are, we said, he's not strong on the first lap, and he takes very unexpected decision, like changing the tires on the grid and doing this. So, and this means what? That he's under pressure. He doesn't have the confidence.
Manuel, I thought that it was illegal to change the tire on the grid, or do they have a certain period of time that they can? Remember when Joe Roberts got booted off because they were changing the tire?
Look, I was surprised. I have to admit that I didn't know, but on MotoGP, we see the riders changing tires. I have to check, and this is something that I will explain in our next podcast. I have to check this on the rules, because in MotoGP they constantly change the tires on the grid. We have seen that one goes from soft to hard, from hard to soft. In Moto2, I don't know why it does not work better.
That's why I wasn't sure if they've got a time period that they're allowed to do it, and then you get to a point where you go, you're right, we're getting close now. Done.
Yeah, probably. Okay, and then let's go to Franco Morbidelli. Grande Frankie.
All I could think during that race, I was like, he's got 2 laps to go. He's about to go Brazilian. I was waiting for that. I was like, is he going to ride different? He's just, just his interview. And
did you hear what he said about after the race about that?
Which bit? About?
I asked him. I wrote fully Brazilian.
Yeah.
Said,
oh, really?
Yeah, because I told him, I told him, Frankie, I imagine this time you were fully Italian because you were super concentrated. He said, no, the opposite. I was constantly Brazilian. I said, look, and then I think he had taken some broccoli, because then he entered in a mystic world, and he said to me, no, today I have ridden in a Zen mode. Said,
he's so Zen though.
That was going to be the first thing I was going to say about his strengths. He's calm. He's so calm.
And he told me, look, when the race finished, I said to myself, what? Already 23 laps? I felt that I had done just 2.
He was probably meditating through the whole race. He's the dude who would be surfing and have this big ass shark come up and almost bite his head off, and he'd be like, yeah, man. Like,
probably. Him and Daryl Binder. I would like to see both together,
Yes, definitely.
Okay, the strong points of Morbidelli in this end of the race.
Calm.
Of the race,
Stu
of
said.
the championship.
Yeah, he's calm. I can't see him cracking under pressure in any situation that may come about in the future. Now I've said that, it's going to happen. But yeah, he's calm. And as you've said with a few of the other guys, he's fast. He's smooth. He's fast and he's smooth. He's fantastic.
No mistakes.
Yeah.
Does he meditate? Does he meditate,
like
Manuel?
this.
When he says that after midnight he's poor Brazilian, I think that he doesn't meditate too much.
He's doing some. Well, usually you lie down sometimes when you meditate, Stu. He's just so grounded and.
Yep.
Look, the strong points of Morbidelli are pretty clear. there are still 75 points to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's 25 points behind. This means that he has nothing to lose.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's strong. He has just to go out and try to win the races. For him,
Mm-hmm.
any other result is not valid. So he doesn't need to check where the others are. He doesn't need to have a look to anybody. It's just him.
Ride his own race and
This is positive, no? He has a lot to win and nothing to lose.
Mhm.
Absolutely, he does.
And after the race in Teruel, his confidence is up in the sky. He feels, well, he was really Dalai Lama Morbidelli was.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Were his tires on the ground? He was just cruising.
Yeah.
And then another strong point that he has a team, the same team that took Jorge Lorenzo to win 3 championships,
Mm.
is on the side of Morbidelli. That
Yep.
is his team, Ramon Forcada and Wilco Zellenberg. So in this, he has the best crew that anybody could have in this position is on Morbidelli's side.
That
Yep.
team, again, I think we mentioned it quickly last week about McPhee not jumping up to Moto 2 because he wants to stay with the Petronas team. They must just be such a tight, comfortable, supportive team.
Yeah, I think that they at this point is a strong point, and the cons in Morbidelli's case are very funny.
How funny. I'm like, wait, go.
I'm waiting.
Okay, we have different. What is positive that is 25 points behind is also negative. He's 25 points behind, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Then his answer was brutal. Italian colleague asked him, Frankie, is it irrational to think you winning the championship? And his answer was brutal. One of these answers that Andra will like. He said, it's irrational because I am in a satellite team fighting for a factory Yamaha and another rider who will be factory rider. And I am just a satellite team. Meaning that imagine what in Yamaha will happen if he wins being Mr. Nobody.
Yeah.
And second, he said, and I am riding a 2019 bike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I am racing a 2019 bike against 2 2020 bikes like mine. So how would somebody in Japan understand that me with this old bike would beat the tough guys with the good bikes? He said, this is irrational. But then comes the sentence. He said, but irrational is not impossible. Da, 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 da.
Oh my God. Especially in 2020.
Okay, exactly. Everything happens.
I want him to write a book.
So this is the situation, and this is how we arrive at the end of the championship. 25 points is Morbidelli, but I tell you something. Mr. Andrea Dovizioso, who is actually 28 points behind, if, as expected, it rains in Valencia, he will be back in the championship full, because none of these 4 riders are fast in the rain. And Dovizioso won 2 years ago in the rain in Valencia.
Oh, damn.
So,
look at this, Andra.
Don't write him off yet.
The last time it rained in Valencia, I think it was 2 years ago, the podium was Dovizioso, Rins, and Paul Espargaro.
Far out.
So how the Italian said, amici, friends.
Yeah.
If it rains, all what we have said here, we can probably throw into the trash.
Yeah.
So we are looking
they're
forward
forecasting rain, are they?
It's obviously that we are looking forward for the rain.
Yeah, that's what we
But
want.
with Dovi too, this is pretty much set that this is going to be his last season in MotoGP racing.
Dovi is my hero. Okay, now we have finished this, our approach to the last races. Now we switch to another point, right?
Go on.
Dovizioso, future of Dovizioso. Okay, I should not tell this, but okay, our listeners deserve to hear this, right? Dovizioso, no. Let's put it in another way.
Oh, come on,
Can't do that
Manuel.
to us, Manuel.
Okay, no.
Come on.
Let's start to the point. The last news that went out this week about Jorge Lorenzo may be riding with Aprilia, correct?
Yeah.
We
Test
we heard
rider.
that news.
Test rider, right? Yep.
So I phoned to my friends in Aprilia to get out what was right and what, if there was anything true. So the story, then they explained me the following thing. We are talking about Aprilia. They told me, look, we don't say no. We are talking with Jorge Lorenzo, but the same way that we are talking with Andrea Dovizioso, Cal Crutchlow. So we are just having talks. There is nothing signed, and any decision will be taken only after Andrea Giannone appeals result comes out, of course.
Still hanging
If
around.
if the result is not favorable, how do you say?
Favorable. Yep.
I like the way you said it. I've only had one drink.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if it doesn't happen, then they have to choose among these three riders. It won't be Dovizioso.
They can't afford him as a rider.
So where's
It won't be
going?
Dovizioso because
Has he already signed for something else?
look what happened. Now we come to Dovizioso back.
Look at Manuel's
what happened with
eyes.
Dovizioso.
If you're listening to this on the podcast, jump on YouTube and look at Manuel's eyes.
Dovizioso was very, 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 very close to sign with Honda.
Right.
As test rider.
As a test rider, yeah.
For the moment. The idea was a test rider. So at the beginning, they seemed to reach an agreement, and then Andrea told Honda, okay, but you have to allow me to race in motocross. Because this is what he likes to do most, motocross. And as he will be a test rider with just 3 or 4 tests a year, he said, on the contract, you have to write down that I will be allowed to race motocross races, not just to train.
Wow. Yep.
They said at the beginning it was no way. Okay. Then Honda reconsidered and told him, okay, we allow you to race motocross and car races as well.
Car races as well. Cool.
Okay. And then came the last move that really showed that Dovizioso didn't want to go to Honda. I said, okay, yes, but I want to race with the brand I like, not with Hondas, because your bikes are not good enough for motocross.
Like that.
What about that?
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
He wants to race motocross on a KTM.
Exactly. and obviously Honda said, hey, probably they said, you don't want to come with us because this is too much. Okay.
Really?
So the situation for Dovi at this moment is he has just the option of Yamaha.
Right.
As a test rider. But if the situation, it will come to the same point. I want to race motocross and I don't want to do it on a Yamaha.
Yeah.
Because he wants to race with KTMs.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is the situation. And this is, these are the kind of things that people who follow races say, well, these are the things that can blow up a simple contract in the future. It's like, and you keep thinking, no, because maybe the bike, no, because maybe the money, because no, I want to race motocross. That's the point.
I'm glad. It's nice to know that he's got something else he can do that he absolutely loves, and it's not going to be like, oh my God, like Jorge Lorenzo is probably lost, not right, being a MotoGP rider anymore.
Yeah, I'll recommend you, and I will send you the link to my fabulous website where I did an interview with with Andrea Dovizioso, and where he explains what motocross means for him.
Nice.
Okay. Yep.
He said
Good
that
stuff.
any MotoGP rider has to have something that makes him switch off.
Yeah. Yep.
True.
And by the way, I did the same question to Morbidelli the other day, where I did a fantastic interview as well. I haven't published yet, and I told him, which is your escape valve?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yep.
Yep.
and he said, he kept thinking, he said, talking with my friends about motorcycle. I said, no,
That guy's an
Frankie.
addict.
That's gold.
And that's it. Yes.
Manuel, I have to ask, what is your prediction on who's going to take the seat and whatever out of Aprilia? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, we just explained. Look, I tell you something more about this trio that have the option of Aprilia. In August, Cal had a contract on the table to sign, a pre-contract.
Mhm.
That was depending, once again, depending on Iannone's trial result.
Number 29.
Number 29.
Sorry, I stuck that in.
And when he was ready to sign, Andrea Dovizioso announced that he was leaving Ducati. He had almost, we can imagine, okay,
Yep.
the pen on his hand to sign, and then Dovizioso came out from this. And then
Hold up.
the super chairman of the company said, stop, because having somebody like Dovizioso, Italian, three
Yeah.
times runner-up, available, it makes no sense that we sign with him. Just let's wait.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there is the story. But as Dovizioso won't be in Aprilia, and Jorge Lorenzo, we talk later, I think Cal has some pros. You know, he's arriving from different brands. He has ridden Yamaha, Ducati, Honda. He has worked as test rider for Honda, so he can
Mhm.
take a lot of information to Aprilia. And then the second strong point for Cal is his passport. There is no other British rider in the championship.
Mhm.
One of the broadcasts that pay more money to show the races is a British one, BT Sport, I think.
Yep. BT Sport.
So they need some English rider in
Of course.
the class.
Somewhere
So
in
this
there,
can
yeah.
help him. And to finish the story with Aprilia regarding Jorge, you know, there are many said that Jorge has been very slow. He's an ex-rider anymore. O sea, he's an ex-rider. This is 100% true. If Jorge would really be committed to do that job, he could be fit in 2 months, and he would be fast like he is fast. The problem is that this would be an incredible risk for Aprilia. You understand? So
Yeah.
if they do the bet on Jorge, and then he decides that half of the season that he has not fun anymore, it would be a disaster. So if Dovi doesn't, if Iannone number 29 doesn't work out, I would put Cal on the second Aprilia.
So if Noni does come back, we got a
Then-
couple of really good riders that are just gone.
Mm.
Yeah, then Cal could do the job of a test rider, for example.
Yep. Pick up a test spot.
Number 35 turned 35 this week, didn't he?
He did too. Happy 35th birthday to Mr. Cal Crutchline. Very good.
35.
Bloody spring chicken.
He ain't no 41
You remember being
Rossi.
35?
I was out of jail. Hang on.
was.
Yes, I was out of jail with 35.
I have to show you something. This is my wallpaper on my phone.
Nice. Yep.
Well, I think now he's more looking forwards than backwards.
Yeah, I
in
know.
the
My
last
husband,
years.
he was like last night. He just looked at my phone and went, "Andrea, have you got Rossi as your wallpaper?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
Cool.
I have a question for you. Do you think in this strange championship, the two worst results should be eliminated at the end of the season? I mean, taking, there are how many races? 14 or 15, right?
Yep.
In the past, Endra, there were championship where the two worst results of the season were erased. So you used just the, would say, in this case, the 13 best results.
Mm-hmm.
In this championship with the coronavirus and all the races back to back and this, it would have been interesting and I think much more fair to at the end of the season just to, how to say, erase or put away the two worst races. You know, this would have done that. The two races Valentino was off because of the coronavirus wouldn't count.
Mm-hmm.
The race of Jorge Martin because of the coronavirus wouldn't count. Arbolino out of the races, the same. It would have been fairer, I think.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Would have made it. Yeah, would have made it very interesting. That's.
I wonder how
that's
different that. Yeah.
And I think I was thinking about this, and obviously you can't change the rule once the game has started. But this could be a consideration for next year when the corona will still be around.
Yeah, it will. That's right. Everybody thinks we're just going to have the season and magically by next March everything's going to be perfect again, but no, it's still going.
So I will suggest this to the riders this weekend.
Do it. So that brings me to our other. Andrew has a question about basically if all of the rest of the races don't go ahead, Mir could by default be the winner of the championship.
Claro, this is a good
He could.
winner. Is in the position he has to be. The same way Sam Lowe's is in the position where he has
Depends
to
who
be.
it is on the day, but it's meant to be Sam. But I think Alex does help him out.
You know, but they are in the position because the championship, I looked at the rules and it says something that there has to be a minimum of races for the FIM to admit it as a full championship.
Have we reached that yet?
Not yet, but I think, and I have looked for it, and I don't remember. I think that the FIM at the beginning of the season said that with 10 races to go, it would be a valid championship. And we have done more than 10 races.
Yeah, we've done like 12 or something.
Yeah.
We? Yeah.
12.
This has been my most favorite season of MotoGP yet.
But it's amazing. This season has been absolutely mad, you know, physically and mentally for everyone. I know that they are planning the championship for next year. It will start in March, in Qatar. Then they are expecting after Qatar to go to Argentina and United States. They have problems. Basically, at this moment, they would have problems to go into the States. So they have offered Qatar to do 2 races in a row there.
I can't imagine them going to the States that early.
And I saw that the Australian Grand Prix data has come out, has been delivered already.
Yeah.
October 23rd or 25th or 24th. I don't know when it's Sunday.
Yeah.
So I was told that they have to do this for insurance reasons. Although they don't. Yeah.
They've already started doing pre-sales of tickets as well. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So they've got to do it sometime. So
that we must discuss offline.
Oh yes.
No, so, if they open, I go there, even if I don't come back.
You can come and bunk in with us, Manuel.
Just come and live on the island.
I will open, Spanish restaurant, tapas restaurant in Phillip Island.
And I'll live next door. Indeed.
All right.
Okay, so next weekend, Valencia. I heard you say something about possibility of rain. Have you seen the forecast?
Look, and I'm looking for rain. Here I have. It's changed. It's changed. Look, Friday 70% of rain, Saturday 70% of rain.
Yeah.
Sunday sunny.
Oh my God.
No. So
it's just going to ruin qualifying. Great.
It can
Exactly. So in
change.
qualifying, in the front there will be Dovizioso, Rins, and all the others in the
Jack
back. So
Miller.
another different
who does
story.
who does this track suit? Which bikes?
The fastest guy on this track, without a doubt, is Quartararo. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Wow, that should make it a
And
very, very good.
then, but Viñales will be fast. That's also the same bike, and then the Suzuki's. So it will be not bad. And then we have Jack Miller. Let's see if his bad luck finishes.
Yeah,
finally.
exactly. Why not?
And last thing, Portimao. Portimao, a
Yes.
circuit where Grand Prix has not been held so far, but 2013, Quartararo won a race there.
I wanna
Imagine
see
how
this
old he
track.
was. If he's 21,
Oh.
imagine how old he was. He was 14.
Oh my God.
Wow.
The following year, 2015, Joan Mir won in that race in Moto3.
Right.
And
they've both got form
13,
now.
14, and 2015, a guy called Franco Morbidelli won in the 600 Superstock European Championship.
Okay.
So they are three. Everything is so tight, They all have, all but Viñales have won. Viñales has more experience, and okay, but everywhere you look, they are like.
Yep.
But even how I think from the past, like someone could have won the championship by now in a normal season or whatever. Like this is going to come down to that last race. Like it's going to be, yeah.
It probably is going to come down to the last race.
Yeah, no, I'm sure of that.
Yep.
Yeah, and imagine when they do their last PCR test before going to Portugal.
Oh my God. Wasn't there in F1 there was like 15 positive tests after the last F1 race?
Yep.
Was that drivers or was that just like teams?
That was team people.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Have we had are there any more Rona positive tests popping up, Manuel, in the riders?
No, we will find out because they are doing the test now to enter in Valencia. We will know in the next days.
Good.
Okay. This
But
could get
how the
interesting.
situation here is,
Yeah.
I think that they all sleep not in a bubble but inside an egg, because
I think they've got to. So am I right in assuming that there's no spectators at this race? There's no media? Is it completely shut down, or is Spain still technically
Valencia,
open?
yes. In Portugal, it was supposed to have 3,000 people.
Right.
But Portugal is getting into, down. It's like
Be lucky if the bikes are allowed. You might have to put the riders out there 1.5 meters apart, just running.
Yeah.
Fabio might win.
All right. Okay. This time we had a long chat, but I think it was interesting, wasn't it?
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, amazing chat. Yeah. It's been great to just let you talk, Manuel, and just let you tell us all those little nasty secrets about what's happening with people. It's always good to hear.
Okay,
my oozes out of him.
No. My go away anecdote.
Go on then.
And this is with Mr. Mick Doohan. That's for you Aussies. And it's brilliant. First year where I think was it 98 when Max Biaggi arrives in 500cc too.
Yep.
Okay, in the first race, Andra in Japan, Suzuka circuit. Max Biaggi arrives as a 250 world champion and goes into the exclusive 500 class, where Mick Doohan was not the king, the emperor.
It's the god. Yep.
First race, Max Biaggi wins. And Mick in the race, he arrives at the end of the straight and gets out of the track, right? So he gets out of the track, returns, and then he's 17th. And then at the end of the race, the engine breaks. But then he comes crazy, like what Mick was always, yelling around and calls the suspension guys, who is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And tell me, because at the end of the straight, the front fork hit the bottom. How do you say it's two? Hit the bottom, no?
Yeah, bottomed out. Yep.
hit the bottom. So I couldn't turn and I went straight and yelled at him, "You are an idiot." So the guy just, okay, what he did, what the technician had to do, just let the rider get,
Yeah.
Mhm.
So after that, he said, okay. Then he went to the telemetry, to the data,
Mhm.
and he saw, hang on a minute. His front fork didn't, how do you say, Stu? Didn't
Bottom
move.
out. Didn't
At the
bottom
end,
out.
didn't hit the bottom out.
Yep.
He said, no. He just entered in that turn, a lot of Ks faster than ever before. He saw that, he said, okay. And then Mick was around and he called Mick. He said, Mick, can you come a moment? He said, okay. Have you seen this? What? No, you come here and made a mess with the front fork and it didn't happen what you said. Then Mick looked at him, he said, riders not always say the truth.
Oh, bloody legend.
So my friend
Angry.
said, okay, but this happened with my friend who was also the crew chief for Nicky Hayden and Valentino Rossi.
Mhm.
He said, look, you reach an agreement with the riders that you say to him, okay, you yell at me and you just put all the blame on me.
Just to get it out.
But when I am not an idiot. I accept your game. But I want you to know that I know the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bloody oath.
Riders not always say the truth. I would say it's very rare that the riders say the truth.
Yeah. Because it's a mind game, isn't it? And they,
Only when it was a good day, that's when they say the truth.
yeah.
Never when
No,
it was a
but then
bad day.
when it's a good day, it's down to them.
Yes.
Mhm.
When
When
it's a bad day,
it's because of
it's
them.
the team.
That's exactly
Okay,
right. Amazing. Thank you so much again, Manuel, as always. Andra, where can these lovely people see and hear more of us?
Well, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on any podcast platform. Please share, tell your friends, drop us a message on Instagram. We've got Pecino GP in English and in Spanish. So if you know the word siesta or a few more than that, you can go on and check out what else Manuel's written. Yeah, that's about it. Stu.
That
Okay,
is about it.
look
Indeed.
what happened. My Alexa started to sing. I don't know what word we said to her, and she started to sing.
She liked something. She liked her name, obviously.
Oh, I
So yeah,
love
that's
She
it.
likes
Get yourselves over to
motorcycling.
pecinogp.com or pecinogp.es. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever we drop a new video or podcast. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Get into it. Remember, there's only 3 races left, guys. Only 75 points. Oh my God, it's going to be so close. I'm still on my boy Mir, but who knows? It could be anybody. I still think we're going to see another KTM on the podium. Oh.
Ooh.
I bet on Quartararo.
Quartararo. There we go.
World
For the
champion.
championship or for this weekend?
Championship, and there are 2 Spaniards running. So
Ooh.
luckily, no Spaniard hear this podcast.
Well, they're all cancelling their subscriptions now anyway. So there you go. You heard it straight from the horse's mouth, guys. Mr. GP himself is on Fabio. Let's find out after this weekend if he's a bit closer to the goal or not. Ooh, I'm excited. See you after Valencia, everybody. Bye.
Bye. See ya.